Hello ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, welcome back to our channel. Welcome to Fagira Chuma 254. On this platform, we discuss a plethora of issues. We discuss our politics, social and economic welfare of our society. We talk, and we're going to continue talking. We'll keep on talking and talking and talking, praising the right things that are happening in our society, politically, economically, and socially, and calling out the wrong things that happen, tribe notwithstanding, or our party political affiliations notwithstanding. If somebody does something good, we will praise them. We will expect reward for the good things that they've done. Just the same way, if somebody does something wrong, we're going to come out here and call them out. Now, today I want us to talk about something to do with the Western Province, to do with Nyanza Province, and Coastal Province. Majorly those who are the basis of our departed leader Raila Amolo Odinga, the ODM base, Nyanza, Western Coast, and Nairobi. But this message, whatever I want to talk about today, should go to Western Province. It should go to Nyanza Province, and it should go to Coast Province. Nairobi might be immune to this for the moment. Since the advent of multi-party system, since the repeal of section, was it 2A in 1992, we've had 7 general elections. 7. And of the 7 general elections, I'm talking about this, and please, we need to learn. I want us to learn from the mistakes that some people have made in the past, because our past is supposed to shape our future. Our past determines our present, and there are mistakes that people have made, a section of the country have made in the last 7 general elections that we've had since 1992, that ends up costing not just the opposing people they were vying against. It punishes everyone, even the people who made that decision. And I'm kind of feeling or seeing that Western Province and Nyanza Province, the ODM bases, might be tempted to do the same thing, not knowing that they're making a mistake, not knowing that they are going to suffer, or we are going to suffer for that decision that we might make irrationally. What am I talking about? In 1992, when we had our first multi-party elections after a long time, in that year we had Moi as the incumbent, running against initially it was supposed to be a 2-horse race. The 1992 elections was supposed to be a 2-horse race between Daniel Moi running against Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, Raila's father. But you know, the government has different ways of killing a rat, huh? Or should I say different ways of unaliving a rat. The government made sure that Kenneth Matiba got into the ballot, Mwai Kibaki got into the ballot. To a point, there were 4 strong candidates, and that was a trick. That was a plan of the government. It was a ploy by the government to make sure that Moi won, and it worked. It worked because apparently, initially, the race was a 2-horse race between Moi and Oginga, but then after the entry of Matiba, and the entry of Mwai Kibaki, of which Mwai Kibaki, I mean Matiba got into the race when he heard that Mwai Kibaki was running. It later turned out that the person who won was Moi, followed by Kenneth Matiba, and then Mwai Kibaki came as a second runners-up. I mean the third, and Oginga, who was supposed to be going neck to neck with Moi, became number 4. If I'm not wrong, Oginga got close to 1 million votes, around 950,000 votes. Mwai Kibaki got 1,050,000 votes, and Matiba got 1.4 million, with Moi winning, having garnered 1.9 million votes. So in other words, if they had stuck together, if Matiba and Oginga had stuck together, they would have beaten Moi, because they would have had more than 2 million. 1.4 plus 900,000, that would have been 2 point something million, 2.3, 2.3 million, when Moi had 1.9. And Kibaki, don't forget the fact that Kibaki got 1,050,000 votes, and Moi won. Kenya had to wait for another 5 years of misrule, 5 years of things going south. In 1997, the same thing happened. Same thing happened. Moi was there. I don't know if, Moi, yeah, exactly. Matiba, Kibaki, Moi, and Raila. Kinangilu were also there. That was the first time I saw a woman vying for the presidency, and she performed well, given the days when she was vying. So in 97, Moi won. Kibaki came. What's his name? Matiba was again number 2. Mwai Kibaki number 3. Raila now got into the picture in 1997. He was number 4. Again, we had to wait for another 5 years of Moi's misrule. Every time we're complaining about something, every time as a people, when we are complaining about something, we need to introspect and find out what our contribution is to whatever we are complaining about. Because you don't complain about good things in your life. Every time somebody is complaining about something, it's always something bad or something wrong happening in your life, something wrong happening in the life of somebody you know. The big question we're supposed to be asking ourselves most of the time is, what is our contribution to, the kind of living we're experiencing? Because we must be contributing. You can either be contributing to the kind of life you're living positively, having known exactly what you were doing positively. You contribute negatively, or you passively contribute. You just decide not to do anything. You just unaamua tu kukaa. Like some people I know who say, oh, I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to line up to vote. Like, you not lining up to vote will reduce the price of sugar when the wrong person gets into power. So that was 1997. Came the year 2002. Moi exited power. Now the race was between 2 Kikuyus. 2 people from Central Province, if I might correct myself. That was Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. And Mwai Kibaki won by a landslide. He won by a landslide, receiving votes from every corner of the nation. Every corner of the nation. If the nation was to be painted in a specific color, you would have realized that Rift Valley voted partly, not the whole of Rift Valley, voted for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and a bit of Central Province. but the remaining parts of the nation voted for Mwai Kibaki. He got an overwhelming win in 2002. Fast forward to 2007, the race was between Mwai Kibaki and Raila Amolo Odinga, a very controversial one that led into the deaths of so many Kenyans, with destruction of property, displacement of over 600,000 people, close to 2,000 people lost their lives. Some were hurt, some were shot in 2007. Moving forward to 2013, another election that pitted Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. People died. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta won the presidency. And we got out of the frying pan and jumped into the fire, because Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta presided over the most corrupt regime, the most corrupt period of our time. And I'm saying the most corrupt because that is the advent of us getting into unsustainable debt crisis, totally unsustainable, under the watch of Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. But don't forget the fact that Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta was voted for by a people who knew his character, who knew his capabilities. Some decided to ignore what they knew about Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. You remember the computer era when he was minister, where monies were lost. Everybody knew that, but we went ahead and voted for him. Did the same in 2017. In 2022, the current president, Ruto, he got into power, but something different happened in 2022. I don't know if it's because there was nobody from central province who was vying, or it was just a choice. I don't know. Maybe there was nobody from central province who was vying. It might have just been a choice that the people of central province made, but it can never just be a choice. Something was driving the decision, the choice that was made in 2022. And it's evident right now, because whatever the people of central province chose in 2022, they can't. They've refused to stand by it. Why? Because it's biting them back. It bit them and it keeps on biting them back. So that's the reason as to why I'm making this video. That's what I wanted us to talk about. Because if you see the chronology from 1992, someone from central province was vying. The people of central province decided to stand with their own, which is not a bad thing. In 97, they did the same. In 2002, they stood with their person. Let me just say they did the same. In 2007, in 2013, in 2017, they did the same. But there's a difference between, the way the people of Central Province voted from 2007 to 2022. There's a big difference. The determining factor that drove them to vote the way they voted is different from what drove them to vote from, 92 to the year 2002. In 1992, from 1992 to 2002, the people of Central Province were voting for their own tribe. Every time they went to the ballot, they were voting for their own tribe, believing that way they will protect themselves, believing that way they will protect their property and stuff. And they did it so many times to a point it started becoming unsustainable. Then came 2002, and there was that memorandum of understanding between Mwai Kibaki and Raila, which was not honored, and conflict began. And then from 2002, 2007, 2000, in fact, from the referendum, the first referendum that Kenya had in 2005, in 2007, the general election, in 2013, general election, in 2017, general election, in 2022, the people of Central Province voted. The people of Central Province, I'm not talking about a tribe, I've said the people of Central Province voted, basing their vote, their reason for vote, on hate. On hate, pure hate for Raila Amolo Odinga. In fact, I'm told that there are people in Central Province who never believed that Raila Amolo Odinga was a human being. They thought he was some sort of a spirit, kashetani flani. They based their reason for voting on, we are not voting for a kehe, we are not voting for a devil, we are not voting for ambomoaji, somebody who demolished our properties. Not asking the question, why were the properties demolished? What happened after the demolition of the properties that were demolished? Were the property demolished built on public land? Such kind of things. But generally, the people of Central Province based their voting on hate for Raila Amolo Odinga. The people of Rift Valley did the same thing in 2013. They did the same thing in 2017. The driving force was hate. And I'm seeing this cycle probably going to continue happening if we don't talk about it. It's going to continue happening. But the only difference now is the people who are going to be doing it, or the people who can be tempted to do it, are on the other side. The people of Nyanza Province, the people of Western Province, the people of Coast, but more so the people of Nyanza Province and the people of Western Province. I beseech you, my people. I come from Nyanza Province. Personally, I come from Nyanza Province. And I want to beseech you. I urge you. I kindly request you that when we are going to vote in 2027, that's next year, when we're going to vote, we must start as early as possible assessing the reasons as to why we will be going to vote. We must ask ourselves what our interest is. What is the interest of Western Province? Politically, what is our interest? Nyanza Province, what is our interest? And when I talk of Nyanza Province, please don't look at it as Luo Province. No, Nyanza has Luo, Nyanza has Kisii, Nyanza has what is this tribe called? We have the Suba in Nyanza. We've got a lot of tribes there. Even Luyas are in Nyanza Province in Migori. So the people of Nyanza Province and the people of Western Province must ask critical questions. What do we want? What is our interest? politically, economically, and who can serve that interest? Who is going to serve our interest? Because I believe what I've witnessed so far, I believe that as a people, your interest is not just going to be served by having somebody from your tribe being at the apex of power. No. My interest was well served in 2000, between 2002 and 2013, but the president was Kikuyu. So the people of Western Province and the people of Nyanza Province must not do the same or make the same mistake that the people of Central Province made. Voting for Mwai Kibaki in 2007 just to punish Raila Amolo Odinga, just to punish the Luo. Where did it get us to? Where? There was bloodshed. The people of Nyanza Province and Western Province must avoid at all cost voting for somebody for the presidency to punish another person. We must vote because the person we're voting for is the right person. The person we're voting for has the credentials to provide what we need politically as a nation, economically as a nation, and has that ability to knit us together, bring us together. Tukuwe na ujamaa, tukuwe na nchi yenye imeshikana pamoja. If you know what I mean. Because in 2013, the same people of Central Province went to the ballot and voted for Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and William Ruto, knowing very well that these people had a bad reputation. And when I say bad reputation, I'm talking of the ICC. That was not something to be proud of. It wasn't something to be proud of. But they went and voted for these guys. Ni watu wetu. Ni watu wetu. Hata kama wako ICC, ni watu wetu, tunawapigia kura. Yes, you did that. And we were warned back then that choices have consequences. Look at where Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta took the economy. Underground. Totally underground. Look at what you did in 2022. And this, you cannot blame me. It's you people who are now, right now as we speak, the people of Central Province. You are the biggest opponents of William Samoei Ruto. Someone you voted for. What changed? Is it that your interest is not being catered for? Is it that some other people are eating in the same pot that you were eating and you don't want that to happen? I don't know. But the thing is, when the people of Central Province went to vote, you went and voted to punish someone, not to vote for the right person. And that is a mistake that the people of Nyanza Province must not do. The people of Western Province must not make. Voting for someone to punish another person. If the right candidate in 2027 is going to be a Kikuyu, I urge the people of Western and Nyanza and Coast to vote for that person. If it's going to be an Ilchamus, if it's going to be a Suba, if it's going to be a Muslim, a Somali, let's vote for the right person because they can deliver, not because they're our person. Our person only serves nyumba yake, not a community. It doesn't work. It's been tried over and over and it's not working, and it's something that must not be repeated. Because it's only a fool who repeats the same mistake twice. Na nimesikia watu wakisema mulipigia Ruto kura 2022 amukuwa mnaona ni mbaya, sasa saizi hata sisi pia tutampigia kura to punish you. Really? To punish who? The other side? You Nyanza, Western, Coast, Nairobi, you're sitting on the same branch that Central Province is sitting on. So when we go to vote, let's make sure we vote the person with the right credentials. Let's make sure we vote with the tribe out of the room, with the party out of the room. If Edwin Sifuna is standing for the presidency, you know who Edwin Sifuna is. You know what he stands for. You know everything about him. Mpigie kura kwa sababu ya his qualities, not his tribe. If it's Babu Owino, if it's Joho, if it's Martha Karua, if it's Millie Odhiambo, if it's Okia Omtata, if it's Nana Muigai, let's vote, not looking at what tribe somebody is coming from, because we don't have tribal shops. We don't have tribal filling stations. When we're paying back our national debt, we don't talk of our tribe paying back the national debt. No. It's a collective thing. A collective decision that will make us all progress, or a collective decision that will make us all suffer. The choice is yours in 2027, next year. Let's see how you vote. Nyanza province, there's no Raila. Western province, there's no Raila. Western has Mudavadi, has Wetangula. Western has Natembea, has Edwin Sifuna. The coast has Ali Hassan Joho. Northeastern has what's the name of this guy the guy who wanted to kill 5,000 Gen Zs. You have him. You have Aden Duale. You have somebody like Jicho Pevu. What is going to be your reason for voting? Because first of all, we must vote. Secondly, we must have a reason for voting. And when you're making that choice to vote for a specific person, don't forget the fact that when the suffering comes, voting is like a partnership. It's not a sole proprietorship. It's a partnership. When the suffering comes, we will have to share in the suffering. Even you who voted to punish another person, utashare in the suffering. If there is some good to come, we share in the good. Choose you now how you're going to vote. Because me, I'm not going to vote to punish Kikuyus. I'm not going to vote to punish the people of Central Province. If Ruto can convince me that there are mechanisms that will enable me to benefit personally when I go to the shop, personally when I go to the pump to fill my car, I will vote for Ruto. If what's his name, Jimmy Wanjigi, convinces me, if somebody convinces me, I'll vote for them. Lakini siyo tribe. No. I'll vote, but not driven by hate. Because voting for somebody to punish another person is like drinking poison and expecting that person to feel the pain, to die, to suffer, na wewe ndio ulikunywa hiyo poison. I don't know what you think. I might be making noise, but I've said my bit. That's my sent today, and it goes to the people of the people of Nyanza province and the people of Western province. We must make informed choices and decisions, and we must not base our decisions on emotions. Until next time, this is Fagiola Chuma 254. I kindly request you, my viewers, I kindly request you to like my videos, hit the like button, the subscribe button. And if you have the ability, or just share my videos. Thank you.